each and every one of you, Namaste from Dhananjaya. Welcome again to this series of videos trying to reach great minds through the ladder of their words. The topic in this video is society, and the first quotation is by Abraham Maslow. Every human being comes at birth into society not as a lump of clay to be molded by society, but rather as a structure which society either suppresses or builds upon you. So there are a few very important messages as a social being that we have the responsibility individually. Every human being comes at birth into society not as a lump of clay. In other words, you are already structured and have a formation, have consciousness when you are born. So, when you are born, society does not need to mold you and shape you. You already have a shape and you are well molded. Then what happens? You come rather as a structure which society either suppresses or builds upon you. So you have a structure and you have a mind, brain, body, all these things you are already bestowed upon. So what this society does has two main options. One is to suppress you. Now we have known societies in the past and many parts of the world which suppresses the individual. Why? Because the individual does not conform to social norms or begins to do things against the interest of the masses or is incapable of making any contribution other than being a burden on society. So under any of these conditions, the society intentionally or unknowingly suppresses one as an individual. On the other side, when the person shows interest, demonstrates capability to contribute to society, or shows willingness and open-mindedness to learn and grow, the society sees that person as a promising individual who can contribute, and together the society grows and is better off. So this hints at the responsibility that we have toward society as a member of society and as human being. The next quotation on society is by Nisargadatta Maharaj, and he presents a very concise and clear message about collective welfare. In other words, an individual alone cannot prosper in a society that is deprived or suffering. My stand is clear. Produce to distribute. Don't produce only for yourself. Produce to distribute. Feed before you eat. Give before you take. Think of others before you think of yourself. Only a selfless society based on sharing can be stable and happy. This is the only practical solution. If you don't want it, then fight. So this is a message towards sharing and philanthropy. Produce to distribute, feed before you eat. It does not imply necessarily that you are hungry and you have dinner plate in front of you and then you start looking to feed somebody before you start eating. That is the extreme. But do care about people who are hungry, who are deprived, and wherever possible, to the maximum extent, share your belongings, share your food, share your joys with society. In sharing, everyone is better off. And when you share, just imagine what happens in return. The whole society wants to share with you also. Share what they have. So everyone is better off. It is like love. The more you give, the more you get, the more there is. So other examples are, think of others before you think of yourself. Only a selfless society. Selfless here means unselfish. Individually unselfish. Society based on sharing can be stable and happy. This is the only practical solution. If you do not want it, then fight. Because if you do not want it or unable to act accordingly, then everybody will become selfish. Everybody will want to take away from you as you would want to take away from everybody else. There will be stiff competition. There will be a race, a hurry to exploit and possess as much as possible, and this will happen with everyone. As a result, what happens? The society loses peacefulness, welfare, common good, and the end result is conflict and fight. Let's avoid all that together. And another one by Nisargadatta Maharaj. Your desires are so complex and contradictory. What is complex and contradictory? Is you do something and wish for something else. In other words, you are doing something that will create result A, but you are wanting a different result. You are in competition and conflict with everyone, but you want peace and prosperity for society. That's contradictory. It's not going to happen. And desires are so complex. Complex to start with is that as soon as one desire is fulfilled, another one arises, and more and more. So you have a cobweb of desires which are sometimes conflicting, sometimes unachievable, so makes you distressed unnecessarily, or you know it is impossible. For example, you are a ordinary individual member in society, ordinary but responsible and do your duty. But all of a sudden, you want to become very rich, or you want to have a much larger share of the pie in society, then it's a complicated and difficult and contradictory. So, if individuals in the society have these two characteristics, complexity and contradiction, then no wonder the society you create is also complex and contradictory. So the final message here is that society is not something that is somewhere sitting or exists somewhere, then you go and say, this is society. Society is what you form, what everyone together creates the society. Society is a collection of individuals. So individuals are reality. Society is simply a collection of individual concepts, ideas, goals, and limitations. So, for all of society to prosper and live a simple, happy life, individuals have to have those qualities also. Society is not born and created independent of the individuals that comprise society. So with this quotation, I'll close this video and we'll meet again soon. Namaste.